Hello and welcome back to another week of playing Pauper. I'm your host Jake, and before we get to the deck this week, I just want to remind you that we are now starting on viewer-submitted deck lists. So if you have a deck you want to see me play, you can email it to pauper@mtggoldfish.com, or you can tweet it to me at jakestylesmtg. This week's deck is Eldrazi Poultice, and it's a super sweet combo deck. The first version of this was debuted by Gavin Verhey in an article on magic.wizards.com after Battle for Zendikar came out. But after removing some uncommons from it, you can actually make a pretty funny Pauper deck. I also want to thank Joshua and Cannon Spectacle, who submitted different versions of this deck to me. So what is the infinite combo that this deck is trying to pull off? First, you either need one Nettle Drone or one Battered Golem. Then you target either one with either a Retraction Helix or a Banishing Neck. Next, you cast a 0-mana artifact like Herbal Poultice or Welding Jar. The upshot of all this is that you can use your Nettle Drone or your Battered Golem that's been affected by a Retraction Helix or a Banishing Neck to pick up the Herbal Poultice or Welding Jar into your hand and then recast it. And when you cast it again, then the Nettle Drone or the Battered Golem will untap. The Nettle Drone untaps when you cast a colorless spell, and the Battered Golem untaps whenever an artifact enters the battlefield. So you can cast Herbal Poultice or Welding Jar an infinite number of times. Unfortunately, by itself, that doesn't do anything. So you might be thinking, oh no, this is a 3-card combo. Actually, it's a 4-card combo. Once you assemble this, all you have is infinite casting of Herbal Poultice or Welding Jar. So you need to do one more thing to actually win the game. So here's the fourth part of our 4-card combo. I know that there was a Nettle Drone on the previous page, but if you have an extra Nettle Drone, one that you're not using with the Retraction Helix, then every time you cast that Welding Jar or that Herbal Poultice, you get to untap your Nettle Drone, and you get to do infinite damage with one of them. Or we can use Elusive Spellfist, so with infinite cast of an artifact, that gets infinite triggers on the Elusive Spellfist, and you get in unblockable for as much damage as you need to. Or finally, you can use Golem Foundry. With your infinite cast triggers on your artifacts, you can put infinite charge counters on the Golem Foundry and make as many 3/3s as you want, as many times as you want. So any way that you slice it, this is a 4-card combo. It's very hard to pull off because your opponent just has to kill one of your important creatures to be able to mess it up for you or counter one of your important spells. My expected rate with this deck is to probably win about 2 or 3 games and maybe 1 match. But we're setting the stage and letting the viewers know that no matter how wacky or crazy the deck is that you're thinking of, you can absolutely send it in, because there's a good chance I'll play it, even if it's not that good. Alright, let's see what the rest of this deck does to help this combo work. So here we have the rest of the spells in the deck. We have 4 Ponder and 3 Preordain to help us find our different combo pieces. And then we have our Protection to make sure that the combo actually happens. We have 3 Dispel to counter spells or removal spells for our creatures in the middle of interrupting our combo. And we have 1 Apostle's Blessing that can protect our creature. For our mana base, since we only have 1 red spell in the Nettle Drone, we have 10 Island and 1 Mountain, 4 Evolving Wilds, and 4 Swiftwater Cliffs. Pretty straightforward. In the sideboard, we have different ways to force our combo through. We have the Last Dispel, 2 Negate, 2 Hydroblast, and 2 Pyroblast, which can counter things like lightning bolts or counter spells, respectively. And the general plan is just to tweak the protection in our deck to match whatever type of removal spell or counter spell our opponents are packing. Next, we have 2 Smelt and 2 Electricity as a way to raise fast decks, affinity, and tokens or elves, respectively. We also have 1 Kozilek Sentinel. It functions the same as an Elusive Spellfist, except it does not gain the Can't Be Blocked ability. But against a creatureless deck like the Mere Teachings, we can bring it in as an additional part of our combo. And finally, we have 2 more Apostle's Blessings if we need to protect specifically from targeted removal. So there you have it, a pretty straightforward deck. 4-part combo that you're hoping your opponent doesn't kill you first or interact with your combo when you're trying to kill them. This is very much going to be an against the odds style week of playing Pauper, and I hope you enjoy watching as much as I enjoy playing. Let's get to the matches.